Hi everyone, it's Lisa Furlan with lisafurlan.com, and I'm a crowdfunding consultant to help authors raise more money on Kickstarter and Indiegogo to fully fund their books. And today I just want to talk to you about book covers. And, book covers come up, and the importance of a well-designed book cover comes up all the time. And I really am a fan of hiring a professional to do a book cover because if you are not a graphic designer, I think you should stay out of that area entirely and have a professional do the work. But design is such a personal thing. It's such a subjective thing. There are classic elements of design that every book should have, but there's like that it factor when a design is really good that you can't really wrap your hands around. And that's what really good book designers have discovered, is sort of like that it factor that gets people's attention, gets them to click, gets them to look at more. Because when you are selling your book online or in a bookstore, there are a lot of other book covers to compete with. And so our job, or their job really, as book designers or book cover designers, is to stop the eye and make people either pause and pick up the book and look at it, and give your text inside or your illustrations inside a chance to work their magic. Or when someone is scrolling online, pause them, like make the person stop and click and read through your book description, read reviews, and then click and buy. It stops people, it gets them to pause and wait and consume your other material around your book. And then ultimately, it can also be a deciding factor. A lot of people just love book covers. They love a book cover and they'll buy a book based on the book cover alone. They don't even care what's inside. They're just like, yeah, sure, I love it. Done. And so if you have a really good book cover, it can be a green light for you, where you just cruise through and you get way more book sales with a really good book cover. Now, I come to you because my latest children's book has gone through like an identity crisis with the book cover, because I didn't have a vision for the book cover. I was in charge of the book, of the text, and Paige worked her magic with her illustrations, and her illustrations were so wonderful and warm and cozy and all those wonderful things. And then when it came to the book cover, I had no idea. And so I didn't really give her much input other than, let's just stick with classic Christmas. It's a classic book. Let's do traditional Christmas tree on the front. And she's like, Lisa, I don't think so. I don't think it's going to work. But being a collaborative spirit and being a good sport, she went ahead and designed a book cover with a Christmas tree on the front. And so there is the first book cover. And within a week, because it always takes me time to get the book covers sent to me, I really felt like the book cover was too dark. It was too dark, and it was just kind of like not eye-catching in terms of when people are scrolling. It was not. Usually a dark cover with like a bright Christmas tree would like stand out, but it just didn't for whatever reason. So I asked Paige to brighten the book cover, and so we got this version. And as you can see, it is brighter, and it is also a little purple. And I didn't realize this, but apparently people don't necessarily care for purple Christmas books. Didn't know that, but we definitely discovered that because my ads on Amazon were being seen by 100,000 people a day. Not a week, not a month, a day. 100,000 people a day. And I was getting a few clicks from those people, but of the clicks, I was not converting into sales. And so I was like, okay, that's like 100,000 people saying no to your book. And I was also running ads on Facebook. Again, something's just not resonating. I was not getting the clicks. Facebook will run and spend your money, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's converting into sales. So I was like, okay, this isn't working. So I went back to the drawing board and we're like, okay, instead of sort of this purpley cover, can we change it to a different color? And so we ended up with, she sent me a few different options like blue and green, and we decided let's go with blue. There are a lot of blue Christmas book covers. Believe it or not, there are a lot of blue. If you actually look, there are a lot of blue-based Christmas covers. So I'm like, well, this is brighter. This is definitely brighter. This is more eye-catching. We removed the window and we went with it. And for 24 hours, this was the book cover. So if you have this book cover, you have a very, very limited edition of this book because it was only live for like 24 hours. I never got the physical copy of this book with this cover. And then Paige out of nowhere later that day, after everything was finalized and done, I'm like, okay, let me redo all my social media. She sends me an idea for another book cover. She's like, I've been sitting on this. I haven't sent it to you. What do you think? And I loved it. And I was like, this is totally different. It was totally reimagined. It was so her. It was her style, her illustration style. If you look at her Instagram, it was very her. It was all Paige, and I loved it because that is why I love working with her, because she brings that essence of her creative spirit to the project, and that is exactly what I didn't know I wanted. Like, it was exactly what I didn't know I wanted. And so we went from this book cover to this book cover, and it is just so much better. And I feel like 120% about it. And again, it's just that it factor. Some people still had comments on it like, oh, the kids look like elves and blah, blah. I'm like, you know what? Christmas is magical. Christmas is whimsy. Christmas is fantasy. Christmas is dreamy. And this book cover is very dreamy. Like the fog at the bottom kind of feels very dreamy. Kids playing in a snowball fight in an ornament house that doesn't exist. I mean, this isn't something that exists. Like, how dreamy, how fantastical is this? And so I really felt like this worked. And it also really paired well with the Halloween book, which was this oversized jack-o'-lantern, very whimsical, different, not something you see every day, not the classic Christmas tree, but it's bright red. It's bright red and it jumps off the page at you. And the colors, I loved the color palette. We couldn't really get the exact color palette from the file that she sent me, because every time I uploaded it to KDP Print, it kept like going bright neon and washing out and doing all these weird things. So we finally got the color to maintain after 2 hours of work and a lot of tweaking, but we finally got it to work. And I'm so excited that this is the new book cover. And so the takeaway from all of this is, if it's not working, if you have optimized your page in every other way, you've changed the book description, you have really gotten like that, and you've worked that to death, and you're still putting the book in front of 100,000 people a day and people aren't clicking, then it's the book cover, and that's a problem. Again, I am not a book cover designer. All I know is that when you wear your self-publishing hat and you have that hat on, you have to look at it and say, okay, what is going on with this book? Why is it not selling? Why is it not selling at the rate it should be selling based on how much money I'm putting behind it in marketing? If you're not putting money behind it in marketing, no one's going to see it. But if you are really putting money behind it and you're getting in front of people and it's still not selling, you have to really evaluate every aspect. Last thing to change was the book cover, and the fact that it was Paige Jen's original design just made me feel so much better. That it was just meant to be, and this was the cover that this book was meant to have. It was like slipping on the perfect pair of shoes, or like the perfect outfit. And so this book has had many outfits, and this is the final outfit for this book. We're done changing the cover. And so I hope you enjoy it. I hope you love the new book cover. It's the same book. It's the same exact book. It just has a new outfit on. And I think that is fun. And I hope that the new cover really conveys how much fun the story is inside. And so it just causes people to pause a second, give the book a chance, and maybe change that red light to a green light. Maybe, Christmas 2020, it'll be a bestseller. I don't know. I'm not that worried about it. I'm just really, really happy with the book. I'm super excited about it, and very happy with the new cover. So if you ever have this book that's just like, and people keep saying, maybe go back to the drawing board altogether and just release all types of control. Just be like, you know what? Illustrator, graphic designer, go for it. Like, just give me something new, because whatever this is isn't working. And we've tried to fix it, but it's not working. So hats off to my wonderful illustrator, Paige Jenn, who is super talented and creative. And once I got out of the way, was able to do her job. So when you're working as a collaborative team, it's really important that one person doesn't control all the elements, because that can lead to disaster, especially if you don't know what you're talking about. Sometimes I don't know what I'm talking about. This is a learning experience. We're always learning, right? So learn from my mistakes and be open to change, especially if what you have already is not working. You may need to change it, and be open to that. All right. Please leave a comment below about if you have any comments about this video, if you have a book cover yourself that you love or that you changed. I love seeing sort of like the before and after and being like, oh, like this didn't work. Here's what worked. And yes, hope you're doing well. Leave a comment and let's have a conversation. Bye, everyone.